sure to check out Ageless Geeks for your figures and collectibles. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How's everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today in this video we will be counting down my top 10 favorite figures of 2018 list. And before we get into that, I just want to let you know that you can vote for your top 10 favorite figures of 2018. As well, I did make a video of a poll for you to let me know what your top 5 favorite figures of 2018 were, and I'm going to go over everybody's votes and I'm going to make a top 10 list out of it, and the video should pop up right around here. So if you want to vote for your favorite figures of the year, be sure to vote in that video. But without further ado, let's get into it and go over the honorable mentions here. Alright, so right here I do have my 10 honorable mentions. I do have one more figure, but I don't own it anymore, and that is the Ascending Knight Batman. I feel like that was one of Mezco's best figures this year. It was released very early on in the year. I was going to keep it, but I'm just going to wait for the Silver Knight Batman instead. But that Ascending Knight Batman definitely belongs on my honorable mentions list. With these figures right here, and I think I have a total of like 22 figures. There was so many good releases this year. It's just so hard to condense it into 10 figures. So I have 11 honorable mentions, and I actually have 11 figures on my top 10 favorite figures of 2018 list. So for the honorable mentions here, it's not in any order with these figures here. Once we get to number 10 and start the actual list, that will go in order. But right here, these are just some figures I really thought were great this year. The Ascending Knight Batman is one of them. This is a third-party company right here, which is Dasen Model, and that is their One Punch Man Genos. Even though it's not an official toy company, they did a fantastic job with this figure, and I feel like they deserve to at least be in the honorable mentions. And behind him in the back, we do have the Neca, the Predator Fugitive Predator, and I think that was one of Neca's best Predator figures that they have released this year. It has some of the best articulation out of all the Predator figures that I've ever owned, and he is included with a decent amount of accessories as well. The next here we do have Mafex's 2.0 Joker, along with the arms and head from the Mafex cop version Joker. I'm really giving Mafex's 2.0, the Dark Knight Joker, the honorable mention here. Plus you get those added accessories, which makes the figure even better. But I feel like this is the best Heath Ledger Joker figure in the 6-inch scale. And in the back here we do have Mafex's Justice League Superman. The first time they made a Superman from the world of DC, the movie universe, they failed really bad with their Batman vs Superman. This Superman here from Justice League, they updated it, and they updated it so well. It is one of the best 6-inch scale Henry Cavill Superman figures, I think. Personally, I think they did a fantastic job with that Superman figure. The face sculpts aren't perfect, but they're good enough, you know what I mean? In the front here, we do have the SH Figuarts Saiyan Raised on Earth Son Goku. This could have been my list. It's not one of my favorite figures, though. That's why it didn't make the list, but definitely one of the best figures Tamashii Nations did release this year, and he was almost like half the price compared to a regular Figuarts Dragon Ball figure, and they did an awesome job with this Goku here. Behind him we do have the Mafex, the Dark Knight Rises Bane, and it's a great figure. A lot of collectors, including myself, have been wanting a Dark Knight Rises Bane figure, and nobody made it. Finally, Mafex stepped up to the plate and gave us an excellent Dark Knight Bane. A lot of people complain that he was too short. Yeah, he was a little too short. They could have made him a little bit bigger, and when you have him with these arms and not with him wearing the coat, his arms do look a little small, but it's really not that bad. And a lot of people think his torso should be a little more wide because he looked too small, but I think Mafex did an amazing job with this Bane. And then in the back here we do have the Mezco 112 DX Joker, and this is hands down their best Joker figure that they have made so far. He is included with a ton of great accessories. His suit is so much better. It's more jokery and more colorful, like what Joker usually wears, like in comics and stuff like that. And he's just included with a ton of accessories, and you have a lot of fun posing this figure around. Then next here in the front, we do have a recent release, which is the Regal Tech Amazing Yamaguchi Psylocke, and I think this is their best female figure that they have made so far. It's an extremely fun figure to pose around. You're going to have lots of fun posing this figure around. You have tons of different display options with all the accessories, and you have some excellent articulation as well. And then next to her in the back, we do have the SH Figuarts Jiraiya, and this is definitely one of the best figures in the SH Figuarts Naruto line. It's a shame the line is put on hold right now because there are so many great characters they can make in the line, but this Jiraiya, definitely their best figure that they did release this year, even though they only released Naruto figures for the first half of 2018. But Jiraiya, hands down, their best release. Ton of accessories, really good articulation, and the detail I think was handled very well also. And then last on the honorable mentions, we do have the Rebeltech Amazing Yamaguchi Batman, and the reason why he didn't make the list is because of the horrible hard plastic articulated cape that they included with this Batman. Some people like it, a lot of people don't, including myself, and putting a cloth cape or a cloth wired cape on this Batman, it really turns this figure around and makes it much more fun to pose around, and looks way better compared to using the cape that is included with the Batman. But I think Rebeltech did a fantastic job with this Batman. It's very good comic booky type Batman figure, and if you want a good like import comic book Batman figure, this is definitely the one to get. The detail was handled very well, articulation is out of this world, excellent, and the accessories are also awesome as well. So that is my honorable mentions list. And also wanted to mention that I'm only counting the figures from January 2018, of course, to November of 2018. December releases I'm saving till next year. So just want to let people know that, because there was a figure I just got that I wanted to put on this list, but I'm going to wait and put it on the list next year. So let's get into my top 10 favorite figures of 2018. And coming in at number 10 is actually a tie. I know this is kind of cheating and not really a top 10 list. It's more like a top 11, but I couldn't decide which one to keep in the list and which one to take out. I didn't want to take either of them off the list because they are both amazing figures, and Neca and Storm Collectibles did a great job with both of their figures. So right here we do have the Neca Ultimate Edition AHAB Predator. They did make an older one, a San Diego Comic-Con one, a few years ago with the older articulation and body mold and everything with not as many accessories, and this one is loaded with accessories, updated articulation, and the detail was just executed extremely well on this Predator. And it is my favorite Predator, but it's also my favorite NECA Predator figure as well. And then the Storm Collectibles GORO, I feel like is probably their best figure in the line as of right now. The ninjas are great, but this GORO is just fantastic. The only reason why he's so low on the list is because of his horrible ankle articulation. His ankle articulation is just horrendous, but I feel like maybe that was the only type of joint they were able to use since he's such a heavy figure. But I mean, the detail was handled perfectly on this figure. The articulation is outstanding, and you do get a decent amount of accessories with this figure as well. And it's kind of fun to pose around. Like I said, the ankle movement does hinder a lot of posing options, so that's why he is so low on the list, but definitely deserved to be on the list along with this NECA AHAB Predators. And also just wanted to remind everybody that this list is just my personal top 10 favorite figures of 2018. I'm not claiming that they are the best figures of the year. They're just figures that were my favorites that were released this year. So don't think that I'm saying these are the best figures of 2018. So these are my number 10. Now coming in at number 9. And coming in at number 9 is the SH Figuarts Infinity War Hulk. And I think this is the best 6-inch scale MCU Hulk figure that we have as of right now. Tamashii Nations just killed it with this figure. The detail I think was executed extremely well. The only issue I had is they put great shading on the upper torso and on the arms and everything, but then they decided not to put it on the lower legs, on the skin tone, and there is no shading on the pants, which I could deal with. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but they could have at least thrown it on the lower legs, you know what I mean? The accessories are pretty good. We get a decent amount of facial expressions, and we do get a few hands, but that's really it. And then the articulation, best articulation that I've seen on an Incredible Hulk figure, and I don't think anybody else will surpass this type of articulation for this character, and that's why he came in at number 9. So now for number 8. And coming in at number 8 is the Mafex Justice League Batman, and personally I feel like this is the best 6-inch scale Ben Affleck Batman figure that is around. As of right now, some people will agree, some people won't agree, but personally for me, I think this definitely is. The one thing I found really odd about this figure, that's why he's not higher on the list, is Mafex gave us this Batman a cloth cape, but there was no bendy wire in it, and I found that really weird because all their figures they give us with capes have bendy wire in it. It kind of baffled me, and I just didn't understand why he wasn't included with a wired cloth cape. I did put on one of my wired cloth capes that my girlfriend makes, and it does make the figure that much better, but the detail I think was handled extremely well. It does look like Ben Affleck under the cowl there. The articulation I think is great also, and the accessories, I don't think they could have included any more stuff with this Batman. He is loaded with a bunch of great accessories, and that's why he came in at number 8 on my list. Now coming in at number 7, and coming in at number 7, which will probably be a lot of people's number 1, and that is the SH Figuarts Goku Black. This is definitely one of Tamashii best figures that they released in 2018, and definitely one of the best figures in the line. They really did a superb job with this figure. The detail I think was handled very well. I know a lot of people were complaining that he doesn't have like the piece of hair sticking out the side by his bangs, but really not that big of a deal. The articulation very good on this figure, and the accessories are also very good. He's included with alternate hair sculpts, bunch of faces, hands, and some effects as well, and that is why he made it at number 7 on my list. Now coming in at number 6, and coming in at number 6 is also probably a lot of people's number 1, and that is the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thanos, and this is definitely one of the best figures in the SH Figuarts MCU line. Tamashii Nations destroyed it with this Thanos. They really did an awesome job with it, and I really can't be any more happy with how this turned out. The only thing I wish they could have added was maybe a wash or some slight shading in his armor, like the blue and the grayish part right there. Besides that, everything else is pretty much perfect on this figure. Excellent detail all throughout it. The articulation's pretty good. Some spots or some points could have been a little bit better, but I mean, you can get him in some pretty good Thanos like poses. And then the accessories I think were pretty good too. You get a bunch of interchangeable hands and some alternate facial expressions, and that's why he definitely made it at number 6 on my top 10 favorite figures of 2018 list. Now moving on to my top 5. And coming in at number 5 is one hell of a beautiful figure, and it is the Mezco 112 Collective exclusive Model Armor 42 Iron Man, and Mezco just really went above and beyond with this figure here. The articulation is pretty good. It's definitely not my favorite. That's why he isn't higher on the list. But I mean, other than that, the detail was executed so damn good on this figure. Just looking at it, you're like, I need to have this in my collection. But also the accessories, they included more than enough stuff with this Iron Man. You have so many different display options with just the accessories for this figure. Adding in the articulation, you do get a lot more display and posing options with this figure, and it is a fun figure to pose around and looks fantastic on your display shelf. That's why he definitely had to make it at least into my top 5, coming in at number 5. Now coming in at number 4. And coming in at number 4 is probably another figure that'll be a lot of people's number 1, and that is the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball version Kid Goku. And Tamashii Nations couldn't have done any better of a job with this figure. This is pretty much a perfect figure from every aspect. They did a excellent job with the articulation, especially for the size of the figure. They couldn't have worked in the articulation any better. You can get him in any type of Kid Goku poses, or just any type of poses, period. The detail, I think, was handled really well on the figure. I personally would have liked some shading on his gi, which I don't think he has any shading at all, and that's why he didn't make it higher on my list. But the accessories is also the high point to this figure. He is included with so much stuff. It's so awesome, and the best thing is he's included with Nimbus. As you can see, he is on Nimbus right now. You get a stand and you get a bunch of other accessories as well, so he is included with more than enough accessories. That is why he did make it so high on my top 10 list. So that's my number 4. Now moving on to my top 3 figures of 2018. And coming in at number 3 might be a surprise to a lot of you, and that is the Mafex Justice League Aquaman. And personally for me, I love Jason Momoa's Aquaman. I think he makes the character really awesome and really cool, and I really dig the hell out of this figure. I think Mafex did a superb job with it. I think it is also the best 6-inch scale Justice League Aquaman figure that is around as of right now, and Mafex has been showing us the classic orange and green suit from the solo Aquaman movie, and that figure looks tons better than this one because that suit just looks incredible. This suit also looks great. The detail is out of this world, amazing. The accessories, they did include a really good amount of stuff. You have a couple different facial expressions. You get his trident, some alternate hands, a mother box, a stand, so you do get a good amount of stuff with this Aquaman, and the articulation is another great aspect to this figure. You can get him in just about any type of Momoa Aquaman like poses, which is what the Mezco one suffered from, not having good articulation. This one you can get him in really nice poses, and it's a fun figure to pose around with all the posing and display options. So that is why he made it so high on my list, coming in at number 3. Now coming in at number 2. And coming in at number 2 is a more recent release, and that is the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super version Future Trunks. And Tamashii Nations killed it with this figure. They really could not have done any better of a job with this Trunks. The detail, I think, was handled pretty much perfectly. They did a excellent job with the detail. The articulation is awesome on this figure. You can get them in just about any type of Trunks like poses, and the accessories are awesome. You get a ton of great stuff with this Trunks. You get probably one of the best accessories I think we've gotten with an SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figure, and that is the one sword effect. I forgot what it's called, but that thing is freaking awesome. And you do get an effect as well, the Galagun energy effect. So he definitely is included with more than enough accessories, and I feel like this is the best Trunks figure in the line that they have made to date. They are really doing an excellent job with this DBZ line, and that is why this Trunks has came in at number 2 on my top 10 favorite figures of 2018. Now moving on to my number 1 favorite figures of the year. And coming in at number 1, my favorite figure or figures of 2018. Yeah, I know it's 4 different figures, but they came in as a set, so I'm counting it as one, and it is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Neca original movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I cannot thank Neca enough for making these figures. I've been waiting for years and years for a high quality set of these original movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures, and Neca has answered our wishes and prayers. And I know this is going to be a lot of people's favorite figures of the year. Neca absolutely destroyed it with all 4 of these turtles. You get a bunch of great accessories with them. The detail out of this world, amazing. It looks like they took them directly out of the movie, and you have them right here in figure form. And the articulation is pretty damn good as well. It's not perfect, but you can get them in some pretty awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle poses. And these figures, these are probably some of my most wanted figures of all time, and Neca just really did bring them to life in figure form. And like I said, I can't be any more happy with how these turned out, and that is why they are my favorite figures of 2018. But anyway, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know what your favorite figures of 2018 are. You can vote in the video, as it should have popped up earlier, and it will pop up at the end of the video as well. I want to know what your favorite figures of the year, where once I tally up all the votes, I will make the video going over the viewers' top 10 favorite figures of 2018. But that's my list. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. What a great year for figures, and 2019 looks even better.